Hey guys, welcome to Split. Today we are talking about the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. My experience over the last 4 months, how I feel about it, is it better than its predecessor, and well, should you buy it? Ultimately up to you, but hopefully some of my opinions will influence what you do in the end. Let's get it. So straight off the bat, in general, the Galaxy Wear series has been a great watch for quite a while now. And this one is not entirely different. Well, it is a bit different in the sense that Google and Samsung had a baby, and the software is what ended up in this watch. Google and Samsung had a baby? Yeah, the software is what ended up in this watch. So it is running Wear OS, but powered off Samsung's architecture for Tizen, which is what the Watch 3 used to run. But now with all the Google fiddly bits and nice things like access to the Android store, developer settings you could mess with normally in Android, like you could go into settings and change your animation speed, for example. But don't do that if you have no idea what you're doing, but that option is there if that's a thing for you. So that's what's new here. You get Tizen's enhanced OS, which is now Wear OS mixed with Tizen, but it's better. Tizen was already good, maybe a little bit limited on the App Store, but it is much better now with the fusion with Google. So that's what's fundamentally different, and that brings a slew of changes to how this watch works. But let's take it from the top. Let's start with the design. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. At least Samsung figured that. It still has the same 1.4-inch Super AMOLED circular display, which works like a charm, primarily because of that rotating bezel, in my opinion, in the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. I think more watches should do this. Apple has something called the crown, but if you had fat fingers, that may be a bit of a struggle for you. But this rotating bezel on this watch is really convenient because you spin around, you see what you want, and then you can click to select it. That minimizes the amount of times you have to use your fat finger to block the interface of your watch. I think it makes a lot of sense. Even in the Watch 4 that isn't a Classic, that doesn't have the bezel, there is a capacitive touch sequence that sort of imitates the addition of that bezel. But keep in mind though, sometimes this watch, in my experience, maybe when I charge it overnight or too long or near some devices, the bezel seems to get magnetized and doesn't work. I think it's a software issue. Let me know in the comments if you guys experience this as well, but nothing a simple reboot will resolve in a heartbeat. Inside what's powering this, it has 1.5 gig of RAM and about 16 gig of onboard storage, which is virtually double what you had on the Watch 3. And you need that storage in the event you need to carry your music along where you don't want to take your phone out. And how you do this is because of the access to the App Store, you can download Spotify or YouTube Music, whatever your player is, and transfer your music or data onto the watch. Again, personal experience, I noticed sometimes when you don't use this for a while, it can get wonky and not play. Looking sort of like to verify the music. It might just be a way that the company verifies that you're not playing illegal music, whatever. But again, nothing a simple reboot won't resolve, but it is a convenient feature to have. You just keep your clunky phone at home, grab your watch, track your exercise, and pair straight to your buds. If you do have the buds, it's a seamless interaction because on the watch, it does have the controls for ambient sound and all that right on the interface. So that's really convenient as well. So let's talk about the main reason why people buy smartwatches. Fitness tracking. That's not true. You know that's not true. So let's talk about those people who really buy smartwatches because of fitness tracking. Some of those healthy people who want to exercise and track that. This watch still does that really well. It's pretty much doubled the number of exercises it can track, I think about 90 now, and added more to its auto track feature. Now the auto track exercise feature is there's some exercises like running, walking, elliptical, cycling, that even if you don't prompt the watch to start, it will automatically start to track them because it figures, hey, this guy, your refrigerator is not that far. You've been walking for a while. This must be your workout. So I'm gonna track that, which is fantastic, especially when you forget and then you get to rack up those figures when you look back at your data, you're like, yeah, I'm working out. But again, in my personal experiences, and this is what this video is about, I have noticed some pros and cons over that. So when you start it on your own for a workout, let's say walking, if you stop to buy chips or lace your shoes for a while, the watch detects that you're no longer walking and automatically pauses your workout. Really cool, right? But when this feature comes on automatically, let's say you didn't start the workout on your own and you were walking, if again figures out your fridge is not that far and it's tracking you, and it is an actual workout, when you do bend down to pause, there is no auto pause, at least at the time I was making this video. It doesn't auto pause on its own. You can't pause it. You either stop the workout completely and start it again when you start running, which I think is a bit of a downer for me in terms of continuity. Hopefully the software update will fix that. But taking it to the next level, other than just tracking the exercises, this measures all the great things around your health, blood pressure, SpO2, oxygen level, heart rate, and they've added something amazing called body composition measurement. Basically checks your skeletal weight, muscle, water index, how much of that you have versus what you should have. Samsung warns clearly that this is not a replacement for your doctor or your medical institution on your wrist, but it is there for a reference point. I did take it to my hospital, well, some hospitals, and out of the 3 I went to, 2 of those hospitals were like, you know, it's 50-50, but one of them seemed to sync up almost 100% with the measurements I took. So again, Samsung warns, don't use this as a replacement for your doctor, but it is there. At least you can measure your body composition. How you do that, you take your ring finger and your middle finger, and you put them on the buttons on the side of the watch, and that completes the circuit in your electrical circuit in your body, and the watch asks you to stand really still and measures it. Really cool graphics and all on the screen right now. And boom, Bob's your uncle, whoever he is, which is a great feature to have in my opinion. So there's that if you're considering buying this watch. Other than the great stuff, let's talk about how long this watch will live on a charge, battery life. As most smartwatches are struggling with, except some of the great Chinese ones and some, I won't name names, are doing well with battery life, the mainstreamers aren't. Apple, Samsung, what are you guys doing? This thing still struggle an average 48 hours, 72 if you do some magic and push it. Battery life is not great. While the OS software gives you access to features like I mentioned before, battery life is still a fundamental problem. They claim it's slightly improved. In my personal use, it feels almost exactly the same as my last watch. I feel like I have to do everything I did on that watch, things like turn off always on, change the color to grayscale, or if I want to stretch it even further to last maybe 3 days or 3+ days. But other than that, you're gonna get an average of 48 hours out of this watch. You're gonna put it on the stand every other night or every night, depending on your usage, how heavy you are. And I think in today's generation, I think that's something that can really be improved. So if that's gonna be a problem for you from the last generation, that's still here. That's something to consider. However, if you do have one of those phones that do reverse charging like most of the new Samsungs, this watch supports that. You can put it on the back of your phone and get an emergency charge if you need to do a workout at some point, you know, in a pinch. But now we're talking about charging. The Samsung Watch doesn't support all general Qi chargers, right? You have to get to some specific Samsung chargers for it to work, which is a bummer because I think a lot of people have generic wireless chargers everywhere at home. It would have been great if you could charge this on anything. But hey, proprietary, you know, people want to make you buy this stuff. So there's that. Keep that in mind if you're worried about power in that regard. But other than that, no real difference between the last generation and this generation, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And putting all that together, that's really it. Its watch is still waterproof. You can still swim with it. You can still do everything you did with the last watch. You have more access to apps now. You have access to developer options. Ooh, the bands. So they dropped the bands from 22 to 20 millimeter bands. I think 20 millimeter bands are rarer than 22 millimeter bands, and they're a bit slimmer, right? This may not work for everybody. Keep that in mind. So if you think you're gonna buy this and go swap out all the 22 millimeter bands you have at home, that's not gonna work. You have to go find 20 millimeter bands, which are, again, less popular, my opinion, at least in my zone where I live. So that's food for thought. Other than that, guys, let me know what you think about the Galaxy Watch Classic 4, Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. Samsung has had quite a history about naming their devices. It's really confusing. If you want to see my short rant about that in the unboxing, you can click on the video here. But other than that, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.